fella. I guess we got that mess sorted out. Oh, that was close. That's a copy.
Hey, Ryan. Hi, this is Sarah Palin.
Ryan, Donald Trump Jr.
Harsh to win, see you. Hey, everybody, I want y'all to check out a fellow Marines podcast.
My name is Ted Nugent, and I got a call from my buddy Ryan F. Samuels, and he wants me to tell you that he's a working hard, playing all-American son of a who is celebrating God, family, country.
Welcome to the Ryan Samuels Show, one of the top political podcasts in the United States, where we have a healthy distrust for government and mainstream media. The Ryan Samuels Show is a raw, unfiltered look at American politics. Follow on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Rumble, and all podcast platforms. Here is your host, Ryan Samuels.
Hello, Patriots. Welcome to the show. Another one today. The January 6th still seems to be the main tactic for the Democratic Party to kind of shut down Trump and the right. And it's not even close to working. Donald Trump is absolutely abolishing the polls. He's in a spat with Nikki Haley. That's fine. She's just not going to get appointed. She doesn't have a shot on planet Earth to get in the Oval Office. She's banking on simply the fact that, oh, maybe he'll go to jail and then I'm the only one left in the race. Good luck. We will see about that. However, January 6th was like 3 years ago, and apparently there were pipe bombs placed. Okay, there were a few of them. I think 3, at the Democratic National Convention, and then at the Capitol building, and then also at the RNC, from what I understand. Maybe there's only 2, but we will discuss that. Either way, the FBI has managed to hunt down 1,100 people that were at the Capitol. Some of them were prosecuted appropriately. You may not like that. Okay, if you're listening, you may not like that. I'm not here to tell you what you like. I'm here to tell you what the truth is. And there were people who were not undercover FBI agents kicking windows, breaking down doors, and they were prosecuted for that. But there were more people who did nothing that were prosecuted for terrorist charges and just nonsense. I mean, we had one of them kill themselves, and he just walked in the building after all of the mayhem was done. And they managed to track down over 1,000 people who went in to the Capitol. However, they were unable to track down the only person who presented deadly intent at all. This person dropped a pipe bomb outside the Democratic National Committee building in Washington, D.C. And ironically, Kamala Harris was there on January 6th. Why was Kamala Harris at the DNC? Why wouldn't she be at the Capitol building, where she is about to become the vice president of the United States? Perhaps this is the biggest moment in anybody's life when you become vice president of the United States of America. I mean, you're number 2 in the world, essentially. And you don't go to that. You go to the Democratic National Committee where there's a pipe bomb. So there are a lot of questions, legitimate questions, and I'm a skeptic. I'm a huge skeptic. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I do have a ton of questions about this pipe bomb situation. But one of the biggest questions is the pipe bomb was planted on January 5th between 7:30 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. Somewhere within that hour time frame, it was planted there. It had a timer on it, but it was a kitchen timer, and the maximum time was 1 hour. So if you're there 24 hours before it's supposed to go off, why? What? I don't understand. Why would you only have an hour timer? You know, there are a ton of serious questionable things that's going on. And I could just be completely wrong about all of it, to be honest. I mean, we could all be completely wrong. It's highly, I just don't understand. This is the Democratic National Committee building. You have the Vice President of the United States coming to, for whatever purpose, I don't know. Here's a photo of the pipe bomb. This is on Twitter. So the pipe bomb is not even hidden. The pipe bomb is just laying on the ground next to a bench in clear view of anybody who walks past it. There's bushes there. Why wouldn't you stick it in the bushes? Why would you stick it where anybody walking by can find it? That's number one. Number two, we already talked about the hour timer. Unless somebody was going to go drop by and then restart it and then leave. And the other question is the Secret Service was there and the Capitol Police. So did they sweep for bombs before the vice president? She's going to be vice president in 14 days. Before the vice president of the United States goes into a building, we didn't sweep it for bombs and find just a homemade kitchen pipe bomb that's just laying out in the open next to a bench, like in clear view of anybody who walks by. There's a lot of things that just do not make sense in this situation. Now, the FBI, for 3 years, nobody's really talked about this at all. I mean, it hasn't come up. They talk about January 6th all the time. They never talk about the pipe bomb. It's never in their words. It's not like a main point. That would be the biggest point if I were on the other side of the aisle and I was trying to make a point about a pipe bomb, about January 6th and how it was an insurrection. I would just easily say, well, actually, they planted bombs around the building. How can you say that's not an insurrection? And who can argue with that? But they haven't been using this point. So I have the January 6th report. I have read this cover to cover. Cover to cover. It's nonsense. This is a complete one-sided piece of propaganda. You should read it just for the entertainment. I have read this cover to cover, and I've gone back and referred to it multiple times. The pipe bomb, in all of this, this book is like 800 pages. 800 pages. How many times is the pipe bomb mentioned? In one paragraph. 3 times. How is the January 6th report not completely focusing on this if they're trying to make this point that it was a violent insurrection? That's one of the main points that just do not make sense to me. If you're doing an investigation into an insurrection and, these so-called insurrectionists didn't bring their guns with them, right? And now all of a sudden now you have evidence of weapons being used and planted and we're not capitalizing on that. Not now. Not now. So we have some footage from when they found the pipe bomb, and we're going to take a look at it. This is the area where the pipe bomb was found. This is outside the Democratic National Convention. This is the pan-tilt zoom camera. Somebody's coming in. They're trying to zoom in. Notice, apparently there's a pipe bomb over here. Yet we have not closed down this area. We have not roped it off. We're allowing people just to go through, walk right by it. It's right here. It's right here. So this is the bench with the coffee cup on it. And apparently the accusation is that it was a windy day. And I wasn't there. I don't know. I don't know if it was windy and it would have blown the coffee cup over. I have no idea. But people are saying that since that was there, then the coffee cup would have blown away. So somebody had recently been sitting there. However, the pan to tilt zoom camera wasn't focused on that area. It was focused over here by the bridge. So this is after it was found. Somebody comes over and looks at it. They're zooming in, zooming around. There's the Secret Service. I mean, right next to where Kamala Harris was brought in. It was zooming in, but when it was planted, the camera was over here. So there are other cameras, but not from this angle, apparently. That's one of the biggest, one of the suspicious things going on here. And we are seeing just a basic lack of response to this in the situation. Here's another video. This is the Secret Service. There's the pan tilt zoom guy. Here are all these people just walking past this pipe bomb. Yep, that's okay. We're not worried about it. Secret Service, Secret Service. Yep, we don't care. It's just a pipe bomb. So this is a Capitol. There was an undercover Capitol police officer who is in the area. It was undercover, obviously walking around because the vice president-elect was in the area, and he found the bomb. At first, everybody thought it was a civilian, but later we found out it was a undercover Capitol police officer. So he goes up to the Secret Service and says, "Hey guys, there's a bomb over here. I found a pipe bomb." He took a picture of it, showed them. We haven't secured the area. We haven't done really anything. We went inside. So those are the questions that people have. These are questions that I have. And the FBI released a series of videos. And we're going to look at that. The suspect was caught on camera. Let's watch this.
Coming out of Washington, the FBI is releasing new video regarding the person suspected of placing pipe bombs near the Capitol the night before the January 6th riot. It is one of the biggest unsolved mysteries of that day. NBC News Justice correspondent Pete Williams joins us now with more on this from Washington. Pete, what does the video show? What more is the FBI saying about this case?
Well, the investigators say they still don't know who did this, and they're hoping that these two new videos can help generate some valuable tips. The first one shows the suspect walking up to and sitting down on a park bench near the headquarters of the Democratic National Committee. Now, you don't actually see the person place the pipe bomb.
You don't.
Bomb is planted later after this surveillance video, but you see the suspect sitting down there at the park bench, reaching into a backpack, which the suspect was carrying, and taking out what appears to be a phone. You see the suspect sort of illuminated here in just a second from the light from the cell phone as the suspect apparently looks at the phone, then puts it back in the backpack and walks away. The suspect was wearing a face mask, gray hoodie, black and white gray Nike Air Max Speed Turf shoes, and gloves, in addition to carrying a backpack. Now, all this happened between 7:30 and 8:30 p.m. on January 5th, the night before the Capitol riot. The second video is a map showing the route that the FBI believes the suspect took from the Democratic National Committee.
They have all of this information. They have his route. They have everything, all of it. They have all this surveillance footage, but they cannot find out who this person is. Now, here is this is an uncut video. Well, it's not uncut. I shouldn't say uncut because it is cut. Here's a collage of the video showing some actions taken by the suspected pipe bomber. On January 5th, 2021, an unknown individual placed 2 pipe bombs in Capitol Hill neighborhood of Washington, D.C. The devices were placed between 7:30 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. Things we already know. This is the FBI's video that they released. Help us identify this individual. South Capitol Street, South Washington, D.C. Here's the person looking up at something with a COVID mask on and a hood and gloves, looking across the street. This is at 7:40 p.m. So notice something about the walk, right? So the walk is a little weird. It's almost like he's wearing heels, or perhaps lifts in his shoes to disguise his height. Walks rather feminine. And they don't know if this is a man. They don't know if this is a female. Puts the backpack down. Pulls out the phone. Or puts his glasses on. Probably trying to find the building. Now here's a guy walking his dog past him, also has his mask on. Remember, this is 2021. Psychotics and COVID. Walks right past him. I wonder if they found this guy who obviously lives in the neighborhood and talked to him. Southeast, this is 7:52. So now this person with this hood is sitting on the bench where the bomb was placed. He's looking back at the camera. He's reaching in his backpack. Remember, there's only a 1 hour timer on this thing. So is this supposed to blow up at 9 o'clock? Shimmies over to where the bomb is placed, and then he leans down right where they found the bomb, and it looks like that this is when he placed the bomb, right? That's what the surveillance footage looks like. This is when he placed the bomb. 8:14 RNC. This is at the RNC and Capitol Hill Club. Walking in. Walking through the alleyway behind. He's seen at 2 places where they found the bombs, right? This part of the video is extremely strange, and I have yet to see anybody talk about it. And this is the video that the FBI put out to help identify the pipe bombing suspect. He's outside the Capitol Hill Club. He's walking past, and sticks his arm out like he's waving. This is so strange. Walking, puts his arm out like he's waving or stretching, and it's a cop who then hits the brakes. And then guess what happens? The video's over. It's just odd. This is incredibly odd. Walking down past the Capitol Hill Club. Oh, hey, cop, how you doing? I'm just planting bombs. Don't worry about me. And then the cop hits the brakes. So there could be a stop sign up ahead. That guy could have just been stretching. But if you're trying to plant bombs across the city, you do not wave the cops down. Or even make it appear as if you're waving the police down. That is the most asinine thing I ever heard of. And when you're a police officer, and I was a police officer, if I'm going down the street and somebody is waving at me, they're stopping me. Doesn't matter. If they're saying hello, hey, are you okay? Is anything going on? You do a stop. I mean, you could do a suspicious person stop. You could do anything you want. You call it in. Like, hey, somebody's flagging me down. They could have just got robbed. You don't know what the hell's going on. When they're waving at you, you don't know. Like, oh, it could be another call that went through that another officer is responding to. You just happen to be there, so they're flagging you down thinking that you're the officer. Generally, you stop unless you're on your way to something else that's super important. But, I mean, it couldn't have been that important. He's not running lights and sirens. I don't understand. You're waving to the cops as you're planting pipe bombs the night before that are supposed to blow up in an hour? The FBI tracks down 1,100 people, but not the person who planted bombs all over the place? It's so strange. So this is a map. The DNC and the RNC are like a couple blocks from each other. He came down North Carolina up Avenue, went up Jersey Avenue, just walking through the streets, cameras everywhere, people everywhere. It's not, we're not talking 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. We're talking, prime time DC. Everybody's out walking around. Not that many because it's cold, but this is the location where he's looking at the, what appears to be he's looking to try to find a street or a building or something. He had to stop and put his glasses on. This is a map of the whole route. And then the DNC bomb. This is where we see him come, put it down. Allegedly. And then goes up to the RNC. Or goes up and then goes back. And then goes back and then loops around. And then goes up to North Carolina Avenue and proceeds over to the RNC. And then here's where he waves at the cop. Hey. Now that could be coincidental. This is where he places the RNC bomb. That could be coincidental. He could just be stretching and the cop didn't stop. I mean, that would not surprise me. Like in the slightest. It would not surprise me. But the sheer notion that we can't find who this person is. We don't know who they are. We don't know where they are. But we found everybody else. Kamala Harris has not even, she's talked about January 6th over and over and over and over again. Used it as a political bubble to try to pop Donald Trump. She never said I was almost assassinated. Somebody tried to kill me on January 6th. Why aren't you screaming that from the top of your lungs? That's the part that just literally does not make a lick of sense to me whatsoever. Here is a CBS News report about the pipe bomb situation.
The January 6th attack delayed the certification of the 2020 election results. It also led to the largest criminal investigation in the history of the U.S. Justice Department. Federal prosecutors have charged more than 1,200 people connected to January 6th. 1,100 of those have been charged with entering
except the one that tried to blow everybody up.
A restricted federal building, accused of illegally parading or demonstrating in the Capitol. About 450 are accused of violence, like assaulting, resisting, or impeding law enforcement. Let's bring in CBS News congressional correspondent Scott McFarland. He's been on this case from the very beginning. Scott, so what does 2024 hold for these prosecutions?
There are more arrests still to be made, but at this point, the Department of Justice seems to be seeing some type of end game. They're now estimating about 80 more people they're looking for who had some violent activity, some violent criminal activity on January 6th. That's quite a reduction, Catherine, from the estimates they were giving in 2023 and 2022, that there may be hundreds and hundreds more. That notwithstanding, they still have open cases that have been lingering for years. They still have hundreds of cases they have to prosecute from soup to nuts. It's going to take time. And, oh, by the way, this is all going through the same federal courthouse at the same time, which only has so much bandwidth.
That's right. Now let's talk about these pipe bombs that were planted at the RNC and the DNC the night before January 6th. The FBI is offering a $500,000 reward, which, frankly, is the kind of reward you'd expect for a major terrorist figure. Why is this the missing link in the prosecution?
I think but the police have been unequivocal that those devices distracted them at a sensitive moment, derailed their efforts to respond to the riot itself during the early moments of the attack. They were a problem. The FBI has also made this claim, and they continue to do so, that those things could have killed somebody. and that the suspect responsible for those is still a danger to the public. And they haven't found the person. It's been 3 years. And if you take this in a vacuum, Catherine, take that as pipe bombs separate from January 6th and the attack on the Capitol, what a huge question they haven't answered. Somebody left pipe bombs by the Capitol and they haven't figured out who it is.
Well, let's just talk a little bit about the timing.
So if CBS is asking that question, this is CBS. Full-fledged supporters that January 6th was this crisis intervention and they tried to overthrow the government. They're saying, why haven't you caught this guy?
Because these devices, based on our reporting, just had 1 hour timers. So that lays out two scenarios. Either they were meant to go on the night before January 6th, which I think would have completely changed the security dynamic on January 6th, or the individual was going to go back and prime them.
These devices have also been fodder for conspiracy theories in so many different directions. There have been conspiracy theories about who may have led them, who may have placed them, who may have had motivation to do so. Was it an inside job by the feds? All of this is nonsense. But what's complicating matters is the FBI has stopped talking about them. They made a statement yesterday but didn't take questions. They've stopped doing interviews about the pipe bombs. They've left this out there to be spun.
And why is that?
That's a good question. I mean, I don't suspect this is one of their big successes, that it's been 3 years and they don't have a suspect in this high-profile incident. And also, if there are no new leads, there may be nothing new to say. But
so that's fine. He can talk about conspiracy theories all he wants. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I just have questions. It's okay to have questions. You should always question, especially your government. But I will say it is dangerous to be right when your government is wrong. That's a famous quote from somewhere. But why haven't they caught him? The other and I'm saving this for the end. I've been saving this point. This individual is seen with their cell phone. They're walking around talking on their cell phone, waving at cops, just nonchalant, planting bombs all over the city. And they contact the cell phone companies. And, there's ways they can see a person standing on a street corner and then they can triangulate the towers to find the phone and see whose phone it is. And boom, you found the person. You got the call records, everything. So they located the phone. They contacted the phone company. Guess what? I'll give you one guess. All of the phone records for this specific phone have been compromised. It's not available to look at. So you got to look at the totality of the circumstance. Always look at the totality of the circumstance. Number one, somebody plants a pipe bomb. They don't find it in a sweep of the building. It's been there for 12 hours, right? Number two, meant to go off within 1 hour. It is completely logical that somebody planting a pipe bomb would go back and just have to sit on the bench and twist the timer. Like that's a logical scenario, right? Number two, nobody ever came back and tried to, right? That's a little suspicious. So was it meant to go off the night before? Or was this somebody just planting this? You don't know, but you can ask those questions. Don't ever be fooled by the news media that you're a conspiracy theorist. The biggest conspiracy theorists on planet Earth are the United States government. They literally prosecute people on conspiracy charges. They have this conspiracy theory that January 6th was some united, hate-filled militia attack on the government. That's a conspiracy theory. That's the federal government asking those questions. But they don't want you to ask questions, so they tell you that you're a conspiracy theorist. Don't ever be afraid to ask questions. It's okay to ask questions. It's encouraged to ask questions. You should absolutely question everything in your life. Everything. Trust but verify, like Ronald Reagan said. The guy never goes back to set off the bombs. I mean, how is that even possible, right? They found zero DNA over this entire pipe bomb. No DNA whatsoever, no fingerprints, no nothing, no physical evidence leaking anybody to anything, right? Could they have taken their time and done this right so that they didn't get caught? Yeah, sure. Why not? Is it logical that somebody would come back and turn the timer? Yeah, sure. Why not? Absolutely. Absolutely. Is it logical that a company an agency like the Capitol Police has dummy pipe bombs and they test people's response and they put the pipe bomb out there, a dummy one, to see if anybody catches it? Yeah, they use it. They do that for training all the time. All the time. You're going to sweep this area. There may be a bomb in it. There may not. But they'll put a fake one in there. Then you call it in and they say, don't worry about that. It's a fake one. Good job finding it. And they put it in common places that it's held. This is just laying out on the brick sidewalk. Nobody found it. Nobody found it until after Kamala Harris came with her top of the line security detail, the United States Secret Service. Nobody found it. Then the cell phone data is just missing. You can't get it from the cell phone company. A lot of things do not make sense. And it's only mentioned 3 times here out of all of the nonsense. All the things you could capitalize on. There's a deeper part to this that nobody's talking about. There's something deeper, and it may be nothing. It could just be nothing. It could just be a dummy pipe bomb that some idiot just forgot there. Could be. That guy walking around could be the guy who just plants the dummy pipe bombs before the sweep and then goes and hides them there, right? Who knows? I mean, probably not. I don't know. But it doesn't smell right. It does not pass the smell test. Thank you for tuning in. And make sure you hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And follow this channel for more content. Don't forget to get on your phone. Go to our podcast. You can listen to it anywhere. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts. We're on Audible. We're on Amazon Music. You can listen to this podcast anywhere. For the ones who listen to the podcast, tune into the show live on Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Like and follow this channel. We will see you next time.
Thanks for tuning in to The Ryan Samuels Show. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.